There are so many videos out there that tell us about benefits of keeping a journal. They tell us how it can reduce our anxiety, improve our focus, and generally make our mental health better. But if there is one thing that I've learned after 12 years of keeping a journal, is that it can actually work against you, especially if you apply certain fundamental journaling techniques incorrectly. It can actually increase your anxiety or force you to be less focused. Hello everyone, my name is Vasek and welcome to my channel. And other than reviewing books and trying to be not too awkward on this camera, I also interview best-selling non-fiction authors on my podcast. And several months ago, I've interviewed one of the leading thinkers on Stoic philosophy of our time. His name is Donald Robertson, and he's the author of a brilliant book called How to Think Like a Roman Emperor. Donald Robertson is also a cognitive behavior psychotherapist, and he mentioned one very interesting thing in our interview, is that he does not recommend to some of his patients to keep a journal, especially if the patient is inclined towards anxiety or lives too much in his own head, in his own mind. In this video, I would like to discuss 3 different cases when journaling can work against you. These cases are based not only on my experience of journaling for 12 years, but also on some points that Donald Robertson mentions in his interview, some Stoic philosophers mentioned in their works. The famous Roman philosopher Seneca famously said that we often suffer more in our imagination than we actually do in reality. And in order not to suffer in our imagination, he describes in his letters how we can practice a technique that is often referred to as negative visualization. Often our fears are very vague and intangible, and according to Seneca, we need to describe them to give them shape, to understand where those fears come from. But there is, of course, a dark side of this technique. It is when your fear is very tangible, very real, you know what you are scared of, and describing it can actually exacerbate your levels of anxiety and your focus. And this is what actually Donald Robertson mentions in his interview. He does not recommend to his patients to practice negative visualization if you are prone to anxiety. And this is a mistake that many people who keep journal make. They continue to practice negative visualization and they increase their anxiety. I've made that mistake myself, and I was quite glad to understand and realize that I'm making this mistake and stop doing it. So what you should do if you are actually afraid of something and you know what you're afraid of, how you can battle this fear without practicing negative visualization. The technique that I personally used in this circumstance is very often mentioned by Jordan Peterson when he says,
clean up your room.
Clean up your room is of course a metaphor that tells you to focus on your immediate surroundings instead of worrying about the future or the past or something that is beyond your control. It is a very Stoic idea that can help you if your fear is very tangible. By focusing on your immediate surroundings and trying to make small steps that are in your control, you'll see that you can control much more than you actually thought. And I would actually recommend you not to practice positive visualization as well, which is more focused on imagining your future potential goals and striving to them. If you have problems that make you anxious right now, focusing on future imaginative goals might have also side effects. There is a beautiful quote by Marcus Aurelius where he says, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one." And this is a beautiful quote because generally the quality of our life and our experiences depend on the harmony between our actions and our thoughts. And when those two are disbalanced, we can either take unthoughtful actions or we can overthink and not take any actions at all. And this is when journaling can have the side effect. And one of the silliest examples from my own experience that illustrates this point is this YouTube channel. For a really long time, I've written so many diaries discussing what equipment I would like to use when I start the channel, what topics I would like to cover. And at some point I realized that I overthink this, that I have spent many months discussing, writing down and planning all of this, but not actually taking actions. And I believe that one of the reasons was because I was so used to journaling, to discussing and overthinking everything, that in the end it stopped me from taking action. The whole point of keeping a journal is to clarify your thoughts so you can take action. And of course, overthinking can lead to other things, such as increase your anxiety and create more vagueness into your plans. If somebody asked me to summarize Stoic philosophy in one sentence, I would direct them towards Epictetus, one of my favorite Stoic philosophers, and his work called ENCHIRIDION. If you haven't read ENCHIRIDION, I would really recommend you to check it out. I'll leave a link to that book in the description of this video. In ENCHIRIDION, Epictetus mentions several times that one of the key things that you can understand is the division between your internal world and external world. What is in your control and what is beyond your control. In the back of my diaries, I will always write down what he says is in our control, and they consist of 4 words. We are in control of our opinion, our desire, our aversion, and our pursuits. These are 4 things that are always in our control and that we can change and influence and focus all the time. There are things that are beyond our control. That is our body, our property, our reputation. All those things are beyond our control. And the common mistake that people who journal make is that they focus on the external things. They try to focus and overanalyze the things that are beyond their control. And I've done this mistake myself, and many experts, including Donald Robertson, mention that we should not focus on our external things. When you write down your journal entries, perhaps for some time you can always keep in mind the words of pursuit, desire, opinion, and aversion. These are 4 things that you can describe, write about, analyze about yourself, and they will improve your life. Always pay attention about this balance between external and internal. And the moments when you feel that you focus too much on external events, you can always take a pause on keeping a diary. As I said, I've kept a diary for 12 years of my life. I've written entries almost every day, but there were periods when I decided to take a break from it, whether it was for 1 day or a week or a month. It was always helpful to come back with a fresh perspective, fresh mindset. I'm more a personality who overthinks, and taking breaks from thinking and overanalyzing and writing about what's happening in my head. Sometimes I need breaks to take more action, to see where my thoughts go wrong. Thank you everyone for watching this video. I hope it will be helpful to you. Several months ago I've made a video called How to Journal Like a Stoic, and I thought it would be unfair not to tell you and not to warn you about the side effects of journaling and how you can kind of correct them. I just wanted to tell you that below you'll find a link to my Notion profile where you'll find all those steps, all those things that I described in this video, so you can actually practice them if you like having it on a printed kind of one document form. And I also wanted to announce that I'm currently working on a series of videos about the lives of the Stoics. Essentially, it is going to be very short videos, I think only 3 minutes long, dedicated to life of a single Stoic. Let's say I'll start with Zeno the prophet, and I'll tell about his life, how he invented Stoic philosophy, what made him invent it, a little bit about his life, about philosophy. The essential goal of this is to give you a perspective on different ideas that Stoics have, because Epictetus is different from Seneca, Seneca is different from Marcus Aurelius. Epictetus was a slave, Marcus Aurelius was emperor. They both practiced Stoic philosophy. In any case, thank you once again for watching. I would be very grateful if you will leave a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one.